I said I went back to Watts Island for one day because of Cindy Watts' newest interview and the fact that she is still delusional in 2024.
He has such a gift with words, and he was such a quiet person.
But the truth is, there is a lot about this case that still bothers me today. And honestly, can you ever really go back to Watts Island for just one day?
Was in a pretty rough place, and he sent me a friend request. I said, what the heck, we're never gonna meet. It's just Facebook, right? The thing about Facebook is you eventually probably meet the person, which is great. And we met, and we fell in love, and long story short, we're here. I couldn't have asked God for a better man in my life, as he's so supportive. He takes care of me, and he does take care of our girls. Like, he's probably the best father I could have asked for my children.
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here.
Guess what, girls? Mommy has a baby in her belly. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Yes? Are you really excited? Oh my goodness. Come give me hugs.
I like that shirt. So it means...
That's just a test.
There's just the baby's gonna be girls.
I know. Just a test.
That's awesome. Guess when you want to see what happens? Wait.
When I left Watts Island, I still had so many thoughts that I had never spoken on. Once you've been to Watts Island, you can't go back just for one day. If you try, you'll just be pulled right back in. The Watts case is that one case that you always think about, the case that's always there in the back of your mind. It's that one case that you could never make sense of. The Watts case is like one of the most powerful whirlpools that you'll ever come across. It has taken over many unlucky seafarers who did not believe that it was impossible to reach the extremity of the ocean that encircled the earth. They were all so persistent. They equipped their boats full of gold with enough to last for several years. They vowed not to return until they exhausted all provisions. Only a few survived. The ones that made it back said, "We navigated for a long time until we looked out in the midst of the ocean as it flowed violently. We watched others ahead of us, and as soon as they reached this one place, they drowned in the whirlpool and never came out. The last of us sailed backwards to escape the current." That's how it felt on Watts Island a few years ago. It makes you wonder why anyone would want to go back. But I don't think you actually choose it. It just happens. It's almost like it chooses you. It's like Hotel California. Welcome to Watts Island. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Plenty of room at Watts Island. Any time of year, you can find it here. We're living it up on Watts Island. What a nice surprise. Bring your alibis. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. "Relax," said the night man. "We are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave." As soon as your mind goes back there, it's like a massive whirlpool, a vortex. There's so many unanswered questions. Watch as he stops to get some unknown thing out of the passenger side of Shanann's car. Look how nervous he is. He's pacing back and forth, blabbing his mouth, as Nate the neighbor says, as they all watch him backing his truck up to the garage to load up his entire family. Were they all already gone at that point? Or do you see little Bella's shadow walk out and her daddy picks her up and puts her in the truck? And before you know it, you're going back to Shanann's Facebook page, watching all of her videos, watching them in that house, and wondering, how the hell did this happen?
What is striking about this case, Your Honor, beyond the horrors that I've already described to you, is the number of collateral victims that he created by his actions. Why did Niko, Celeste, Bella, and Shanann have to lose their lives in order for him to get what he wanted? These were not the subject of one act, but each oil tank that he walked up with his daughter's bodies and the hole that he dug for his wife and unborn son mandate a mandatory consecutive sentence.
I'm not gonna lie, most of my unanswered questions evolve around this woman. So I just want to share some of my questions, the ones that really bother me still today. Obviously, the biggest question is, was she there? Why did her phone ping there that morning? Her phone pinging there in Frederick, Colorado was not her normal morning routine. The only other times that her phone pinged there were the times that she admitted that she was at his house. What was she doing there just a few minutes after Chris loaded up his family and took off? Why is there nothing in the discovery to show that she actually clocked in to work that day? Why did she ask Chris Watts to prove where he was that morning? She asked him to prove that he was at that site at Survey 319. Why did she ask Chris about that Metallica song? A song that Chris said that the word battery was a representation of the family, and he just put his family in an oil battery. That's kind of a weird coincidence that she asked him about that specific song. Why do her and Chris both refuse to say what they were talking about during that 111-minute phone call while they were waiting on Shanann to get home that night? They both claim to not remember anything, nothing at all, about their conversation they had right before Shanann got home. Why was she on the phone listening in on conversations Chris was having with law enforcement? How long did her and Chris really know each other? Because she Googled Chris and Shanann back in 2017, a year before the murders. What did Chris Watts mean when he said he had to talk her off a ledge a couple of times? What did he mean when he said, well, at least she's out there free? During his Wisconsin confession, they brought up NK. Chris was acting really concerned about her, and he made that statement. He said, well, at least she's out there free. What does that mean? Does that mean she should be locked up? She should be behind bars for what she did, but instead she's free, and she should just be happy that she's free, even though she doesn't really have much of a life because she's in hiding. Why is she hiding? Is she hiding because the alternative is life in prison? Does she plan to stay hidden for the rest of her life? Honestly, I don't know what I believe when it comes to NK. I don't know if she was directly involved. I've always suspected that she put a lot of pressure on Chris to leave his family. I don't know if I believe she actually helped him, because I can't see Chris taking them to his job, where she also worked, if she was there helping him. Two brains are always better than one, and they would have come up with a better plan if she were helping him. I've always suspected that Chris freaked out and went to work and told Nikki what he did. Maybe she wanted to help him, but she didn't really know how. And maybe she hoped that he would get away with it, but then bailed when she realized that shit was about to hit the fan. Maybe that's why Rourke said she gave them all of the information. Maybe that's why they were already out there searching at Survey 319 while they were still in there interrogating Chris Watts. She may have ratted him out. Why has law enforcement allowed her to be criticized so much if they were able to clear her of any wrongdoing? Why can't they give a statement about how they determined that she wasn't involved? Why not give an explanation for the phone ping? Why would they allow the whole world to believe that she was involved in something as horrific as this crime was if she wasn't? Why would they let everyone go on hating her for years?